Today, I am joined by none other than Glen James. Welcome, Glen.
Thank you. First time I've ever been on your podcast.
What?
Mm-hmm.
No.
First time this year, then. Well, I think it is the first time.
Didn't we do the Trump tariff one? Oh, who knows? Anyway,
That was
welcome.
for my show.
Oh, was it?
I don't know. Whatever.
Welcome back. Clearly, Glen and I are all across exactly what's happened on Financially Fierce to date. If it's your first time, sincerely, thank you, welcome. And you've been here for almost a lot of them because you had to handhold me and literally sit in the corner when I started the podcast. So I feel like you've been on so many episodes, even when you didn't speak on them. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually genuinely slightly nervous. I feel like in the last 2 hours, this has completely changed in terms of how this episode's going to run because Glen, you are now going to ask the questions that I haven't seen that we are going to do as I think a bit of a fun hot takes episode. So today's going to be short, sharp, fun. We are going to have Glen ask me and him thoughts and takes that are all related, I hope, to money. I haven't seen them. Our teams put them all together. I've been a bit angry and a bit hormonal and just at the world, and that may have spewed out into recent episodes. So today we thought we'd do something a little bit fun. And between you and I, this could go, honest to God, anywhere. Good. Strap yourself in. Let's do it, Glennie. This is a podcast for everyone that wants to learn how to make fierce and bold choices with their money. We'll talk about how to shape your money mindset, investing for your future, your spending habits, the good and the bad, plus how to achieve your financial goals, and most of all, how to be financially fierce. I am a financial educator and I want to empower you to be more in control of your money and build the financial future that you want. I run the Greenhouse Money Growing Program, and you can find details of that in the podcast show notes. My name is Jessica Brady. It's time to get financially fierce. Okay, so Glen, in case people have been living under a rock and don't know who you are, we should probably do that because I just assume everyone knows who you are, but that's a bit of a silly thing to assume. Glen, you are the podfather? Is that how you still describe yourself?
Sure. That will be fine.
Of the money community. How many podcasts? There's a whole raft of different podcasts.
Yeah, I think we do 6 or 7 different podcasts, and obviously Financially Fierce is one of them. Money.
This is property.
This is work. All the podcasts. This is business for those who want to start and who run a business and want to be encouraged with the business content. But yeah, I'm just excited that you're in our world, and Jess has free reign. We produce the podcast, but we don't do any editorial control. So your team sent this thing through.
Yeah, is it? So I just said to them, I want to make it fun. I want Glen and I to have a fun time asking. I thought I would be asking us questions, to be honest, but you've kind of, in the bestest possible way, hijacked it. So I haven't seen the questions.
Yes. So your team have what they call a Financially Fierce Spice-O-meter. And as we get more into the episode, there'll be more spicy topics. So there's level 1, salt and pepper, intro questions. Level 2 is a lemon and herb.
It's like a Porto.
Yeah. Level 3 is, how do you say it? Sriracha?
Oh, like sriracha?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Slightly divisive. Okay.
Oh.
Level 4, the Carolina Reaper, dangerously hot. The kind of take that could start a family argument at Sunday lunch. So 4 levels. First level, this is the easy stuff. What's the most insane thing you have ever spent money on?
Okay, all right. In full business class flights around the world.
Okay, cool. I think my one was, I tried to get cute with airline points and miles. And this was before I really knew how the reward seats worked. And there was this hack at the time where you could buy Alaskan Airline miles on sale. So you get 50% extra.
Okay.
And then the rationale was buy Alaskan Airline miles, then because it's in one world, use them to book from Qantas, Sydney to LA, return. You can get business for $4,000. Didn't work.
Why? Because in my head, I'm like, oh, yeah, there's logic and that
Well,
makes
just
sense.
to get basically business class flights to LA for cheap.
Yeah, but why didn't it work?
Because I then learned that you just can't use points. They've got to have classic rewards seats available to actually
Of
book. But
course.
Alaskan Airlines actually refunded me when I'm like, hey guys, I'm really sorry I stuffed up, and they refunded me.
Shout out to Alaskan Airlines, who were doing an ad on the beach that was right in front of me where I was staying in Whale Beach over the June long weekend. Alaskan Airlines were doing this ad
Wow.
with people in bikinis on the beach.
In Sydney?
In Sydney.
Oh, they're probably promoting Alaska to Sydney.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
If you had to live on the pension for 1 month and don't own a property, how would you make it work?
I should have cheated and vetted these questions. If I had to live on the pension, the current pension, for a month and didn't have property, Glenn, what's a single pension? It's like what, $1,100 a fortnight? Some insane.
Yeah, I think it's like $526 a week or something like that. Don't quote me because I don't know off the top of my head.
I couldn't even pay rent for that. I'd be screwed. What would you be?
Oh, I'd obviously couch surf.
I'd be
for
in a
month.
tent. Well,
Yeah.
and if we were in pension phase, I don't know how we'd go in a tent or couch. So you'd have to find a really good, old person tent.
Yeah.
Old person couch.
Okay, the next question. If either of you got married or were to move in with your partners, how are you splitting the finances?
You go. Can you go first?
Yeah, well, so for me, I still maintain that I would use what I teach for people, and that is we each, because I think it's under the premise that if we're moving in together, there is intention to be together forever, or along with no intention not to be together, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, sure, each have our own emergency funds in our own name, separate, and then I'd probably just run the Glen James spending plan, a cash hub for all bills to go into, income can go into, and our own spending accounts. I guess the question is, I'm not doing that the second day of moving in with my partner, but if it's being formalised and it's going to be long term, I think it makes sense to merge general expenses into the one account and still have our own autonomy with our weekly spend.
Yeah, I mean, that feels the same to me. I don't have any intention of having a wedding. Was there something in there about a marriage? Or just like as you're partnered up? Is that the vibe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
If either of you got married.
Yeah.
Or if you moved in with your partners. I don't have a partner at the moment, so.
Yeah, I think to your point, like
if you know anyone.
If I know anyone, are you using the podcast
I
to
think
like?
so. I use yours one, yeah.
Where can people submit applications for that?
Oh, they don't.
Yeah, so I think the thing for me as someone who is a fiercely independent, stubborn, security-driven person, I am always making sure that I have probably more than I need in emergency savings. I am getting a binding financial agreement because I come to the relationship with assets and they might as well. But you're right. Like I would imagine if you're going to live together, there's team joint goals. We want to have a collective kind of plan for our cash.
Yeah. And I don't think that's controversial. Like people are out there and they live together and I'll do a % of my salary for the rent because this proportion or that proportion. I'm like, do what you want to do, that's fine. But at the end of the day, if you're together for more than 18 months, under law, it's all the same anyway. So why wouldn't you want to at least have a system for the ease of management? So
Yeah.
like all money go in, we've got individual goals, household goals, joint goals, all that stuff, and just have a system that works.
It's one of those funny things where I agree with you, and yet we also need to be really cognizant of the fact that 1 in 2 marriages doesn't survive. And so it's like this awful thing of like, yeah, we need to work towards goals, but we also need to be pragmatic around the fact that not every relationship is going to survive. And so, yes, in the eyes of the law, assets might be after a certain period of time joint, but if someone has more access to them or is restricting access to them, like you also just need to make sure you're keeping yourself safe.
If you weren't allowed to own a business or work in finance, what are you doing?
Oh. For work?
Yeah. I'm probably doing something maritime for sure.
I thought you were going to say something like tech.
Oh, no, that's boring. No, I'd be out on a boat.
Does it matter whether the amount of money you get would be reasonable to live your life? Is that part of the question?
It's not, Jess. The question is, if you weren't allowed to own a business or work in finance, what are you doing?
I think I just want to volunteer at the pound.
Sure.
I don't know. It's a good question though.
Mm,
Could I just walk dogs all day?
you can,
Maybe I'll be a dog walker.
if you think you can get money from that.
Yeah.
Okay, the last question in Salt and Pepper. Should CEOs be allowed to earn so much more than their workers?
Jesus, this is in the
Yeah.
salt and pepper one. Oh my God, what have my team put in this episode? So I think I know why this one's in here. Did you see last week some of the reports that came out? Yeah, it's wild. No, I think it would. I think anyone that's in one of those top CEO positions clearly has a tremendous amount of pressure and stress put on them. But what makes them worth, I don't know how many times their, average employer's income? At some point, it all just becomes superfluous money stuff. Why are they worth 42 million a year or 32 million a year or 22 million a year? I find it, how can you quantify or rationalize how someone is worth that amount every single year?
It's called capitalism, baby.
I know, but I think my answer is nah. I don't think it should be allowed.
I would say, why not? It's a free world. We live in a society. Because it actually goes down to, do the shareholders of that company mind? And at the end of the day, CEO salaries go to a vote. So it's a matter for the shareholders of that company. Now, if you've got a problem with a company with a CEO being paid $50 million a year, you don't have to own shares in that company.
Or use their services.
Their services.
But then you would be screwed really, because you would probably not be investing in much of the ASX 200.
Yeah, that's right. But that just goes back to the free market. At the end of the day, a lot of the salary isn't actually hard cash. It's stock options. That's a big part of the package.
Yeah.
But if you get on your high horse of, no one should be paid $30 million. I'm well, that company obviously thinks that if they want someone who's, hot property, they may need to pay that to get it, or they'll go to a competitor.
Yeah, I guess where I get really conflicted with this is I'm it's exploitative in nature. I mean, you're right, it's capitalism, but it's because.
But who's getting exploited?
The people who are working to make the services or products that are generating all of that profit. Because what the people at the top know is, if you don't want to do it for a minimum wage or whatever we're paying you, no worries, next. We'll find someone else. And so then it becomes,
But what's that got to do with the CEO's salary?
Well, that you can't have workers saying, this is crazy. We work our ass off and we can't even afford living wages, and you are at the top earning bazillions so you can upgrade your yacht or whatever. I think.
But they're not earning billions so they can upgrade their yacht. They're earning all the money because that's what the market is allowed.
And so the question is, should it be allowed?
I'm in a mood, by the way.
Oh, I've been in a mood for days. I think this is good.
I'm just picking a fight with you for
no,
fun.
You're allowed to. And I know that, I am probably kumbaya, left-leaning, all the things. I think... So,
okay. So if you pull that thread, if there is a CEO earning $50 million and there's a product manager in that company earning $150K, for that role in the market, it's probably market rates. So, or if there is someone in that business earning $80,000, okay. To me, it's akin to me having my small business and your small business. It'd be akin to someone, it's very similar. So I own this business, I take on all the risk, blah, blah, blah. If I earned, I'll make a number up, 5 times more than the average employee salary in the business, just because I earn more and just because the business has profit, does that mean the staff should be paid more?
But if you earn 50 times more.
Okay,
Or
same thing.
100
If I earned
times
100
more.
times more than the average salary in the team, should that mean just because the CEO earns more or just because there is profit, everyone else should get more money?
Like the shareholders?
No, the employees.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about a grocery store where you now have to, you're probably having people on minimum wage who I think in Australia would be very hard to live on minimum wage, who, if they all left tomorrow, that CEO would have no business because no one would have any food to be able to buy.
Yeah, but the CEO is employed by the board.
Yeah.
And if the business was going sideways, like a lot of these salaries are based on performance anyway, I think there would always be workers. But then that's a matter. So if the business is going sideways, well, that's a matter for the board and the company to say, well, we need to pay more for talent on the ground.
Yeah, but instead I'm packing my own groceries and looking up what item number it is for, I don't know, salami or whatever. Like, I think it's interesting to, like, I think philosophically I have an issue with it because I feel like it is, I have this weird justice thing and, like, I want everything to be just and it's not. I just think, how much risk is a CEO really taking on? Really? Like, if I get their heads roll if so, but
Go to jail. If they're an executive.
And how many who have had big...
Well, I'm talking white-collar crime, but...
Sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want the responsibilities of someone who is a CEO of a big bank.
I couldn't do it.
No.
I don't think it would appeal to me at all. But I just think there is something very wrong when you look at the people who are at the bottom and how much they earn and how hard a lot of them work in often quite labour-intensive, difficult conditions.
Yeah,
It's a different kind of stress.
But it goes back to market forces.
I know.
There's like 100 people that could do one job at the checkout or whatever. There might only be 4 in Australia that can do the job of that CEO. That's why they bring a lot of them in from overseas.
So you think it's fine?
I don't have a problem. Like, sure, I'm not dying on the hill. Like
Maybe
at the
I'm
end of the
dying on
day, at the end of the day, if the listed company or insert company's leadership board think it's better. Okay, here's an example. What if the company did better because they paid a CEO who was really good $50 million and it was providing good shareholder value and all that stuff? As a shareholder, it's like, hey, we'll have a better business if we pay $10 million more for this CEO. We might earn $150 million more a year. It's honestly, this is where it comes down to. It's the best system in the world is capitalism, but the worst system in the world is capitalism.
I'm terrified that we're in the salt and pepper category of our, like, that's scary to me.
Anyway, I don't really have a view. If the shareholders approve this and the board of that company approve it, it's a matter for them.
Okay, let's do next. Do we need a small break? And I think
we'll keep going.
Oh, God. Okay, let's make them short and sharp because clearly I went waffling.
So level 2, lemon and herb.
I swear
If you earn good money, you should be financially sorted. Spicy truth or salty myth? True or false style or too hot or not? Anyone should be financially sorted regardless of their income.
Yes, but
relative to their situation.
I also think there is a myth that assumes that once you have a good income, you will be financially sorted, like one magically enables the other one, which doesn't always happen either.
Financial advice is only for rich people.
I think getting one-on-one financial advice in Australia today is largely due to cost, mostly for people who have quite large levels of wealth.
So you can't answer that question without defining what rich is. What's a rich person?
Well, I think this gets too deep philosophical of what makes a rich life. But I think if we're
Because someone with a $5 million net worth, they would say, I'm not rich. I need $100 million to be rich. But someone with 2 cents in their wallet would think someone with $100,000 in their bank account is rich.
So I don't think I've seen 2024 data, but 2023 data I think says what the first year of financial advice across Australia is like $8,000. I think it makes the argument that for a lot of people to spend or have that amount of money to spend on getting a strategy for their money, they've got to have a considerable amount more than that. So I guess it does depend on what your yardstick is for rich. But I think that's why, it's been so awesome to watch podcasts and educational platforms and books and everything kind of sprout out and up for all of the people that can't get it.
Investment platform fees don't matter. Well,
is this a yes or no situation?
It's true or false, or too hot or not. Well, false. They do matter. I mean, at what point does it start to matter? Well, I think maybe over 0.5% for the investment platform fee might be like, okay, it starts to matter.
Yeah, I think when investment platforms came out, platforms were getting heat for minimum monthly amounts, which were like a minimum of $2 a month or something. So I think that there can be some sort of, I think it's worth understanding, but let's be honest, whether you pay $2 a month for a platform fee or $5 a month for a platform fee, like the functionality is important, and frankly, you can save your way out of that.
Private schooling is the way to go. True or false? Well, that's categorically false, isn't it? It depends.
What are your thoughts on this?
My own thoughts.
We should say we for a small amount of time, but we can't remember each other. We were in the same high school.
Yes.
Weirdly.
Yes.
Keep going.
Look, I would imagine if I spawned the earth, if the primary school spawned.
Does that mean you had a child?
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds very devilly. Yeah.
I would imagine if it was a decent public primary school, I'd probably go there. But if there was nothing, maybe private. It's circumstantial. I don't think there's a yes or no.
Yeah. I think you and I both survived public school. I wouldn't say that we went to, and I should say that I then went to a different public school. I wouldn't say that we went to the most prestigious nor elite high school. Were you there when every time that there was a punch up, you had to go into the quad? They used to bring everyone back. Were you there during the period where it was literally like every day for like months there would be a punch up and we'd all have to sit in the quad for the remainder of our lunch break?
Yeah, I forget. I remember when there was a punch up, everyone used to run to go and watch it.
Oh yeah, but they implemented this thing where we all had to sit in that inner quad thing. Like that ended up becoming every day. And my parents were like, you need to leave. So I personally, this is a heated question. I think if you want to, you can do well in any school. Because I think teachers and the education system do a great job. What I have seen through a number of friends who have been to private schools is they have connections out their backside that I think you and I have had to spend a long time cultivating. So if you wanted that for your kids and you can afford it, maybe. But it's not a guarantee either.
The last one on level 2, you don't need a detailed budget to be good with money.
Disagree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You agree with that?
Yeah, you don't need a detailed budget to be good with money. Why do you need a detailed budget to be good with money?
I think initially setting it up, you need to know how much goes where. And then if you've set it up properly, then I don't think you need to be so detailed. But there are a lot of people who have a lot of slippage. And I think it would be really hard to know confidently how much you could put towards each thing.
To be good with money, quote unquote, that could be you've got an emergency fund, you regularly invest, you don't go into consumer debt. So I don't have a detailed budget. I don't think you need one, but you just have those guardrails in place because the details, they don't heaps matter.
What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, again, what's the definition of detailed? I'm not saying every time I buy, like we had McDonald's today for lunch.
We did. It's Glenn's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Glenn.
Thank you. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I didn't say, okay, I've spent $12 or $14, whatever it is, on a media meal. I need to allocate that to this.
Sure, no, that's not how I set up cash flow systems anyway. But I think there are a lot of people who have no goddamn clue how much they spend in any category. And so I would say whatever you consider that to be it detailed or the different word, you need to know that stuff.
You need a system.
Yes.
But I think the reason I said I agree with this, that you don't need a detailed budget to be good with money, if you have some hard guardrails
Correct.
that you don't ever use consumer debt, you might invest or save as soon as you get paid and make sure if you invest every time you get paid and stay out of consumer debt or salary sacrifice to super, you could have the sloppiest budget in the world and you would never go backwards. But it's because I'm talking backwards as in consumer debt, and because you're automatically investing for the future, it's already taken care of. So you wouldn't go backwards. Because you would be living on less than you earn, you would be saving for the future. But the more detail you have, the more optimized you'll get.
I love it when we disagree, but actually when we nut it all out, we end up agreeing.
Yeah, I think because we just see things from either side of the coin, but we'll be right back after this break.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. If you would like help based on your own personal situation, head over to moneypodcast.com.au, click Get Help, and we'd be happy to introduce you to one of our trusted professionals. Our panel of vetted financial advisors and mortgage brokers work with people all over Australia so they can connect with you wherever you are. That's moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help.
Okay, Sriracha, level 3, slightly divisive. Are we going to have a middle class in the future?
I don't think so. What do you think? In Australia? No, I don't think so. I think we're already seeing it in parts of the world. The middle class is being squashed out.
And that's due to housing stuff.
And also if you look at the wealth that's been, the percentage of increase of the top tier, it massively has outperformed wage growth, which gives the top more money to play with. Yeah, I think the middle belt of Australia is going to get squashed out.
Yep. Your bestie has asked you for a loan. Are you lending them money? Are there terms and a contract? I've loaned heaps of people money.
Same.
And the terms are pay me back.
I've always lent it in the back of my mind, knowing if it doesn't come back, the world's still going to spin for me.
Yeah.
But yes, I have been.
And I wouldn't recommend it to people if you were in a mess yourself or not financially secure.
Yes.
You don't have to. Yeah.
Also, I think you know whether someone is in a genuine situation where there are extenuating circumstances, or whether they've just dug themselves a hole and are constantly using other people to get them out of it, and whether they need to actually figure out how to get out of their own hole. The times where I've helped people have been pretty extenuating circumstances, even family. I've lent family money, extenuating circumstances where I felt that it was important to do that. And in the back of my mind, I thought, if it doesn't come back to me, it's okay.
Most people don't have a spending problem. They have a values misalignment problem. No, you can have a spending problem. I've got good values. I just spend heaps. A values misalignment problem.
I would say there's more people who are getting more confused about what is important to them because social media and algorithms and all of this stuff is making it harder for people. I think the art of critical thinking is actually becoming less common, and common sense is not common. And so I would argue that value misalignment is harder for a lot of people because there is so much shoulding all over social media. You should value this, this, and this. And I do think that is leading to huge spending problems. So I think I'm saying that particularly for younger people, I think that there is a lot of work for them to do on making sure that their values are theirs.
Fair enough. Your financial plan should change every year. Otherwise, it's not a plan. It's a dream.
Every year changing is a no from me. Reviewing, yes, but it can take a long time for people to get to their goals. I think life in a year, particularly if you're in accumulation phase, so you're working and stuff, things do change. I'm not sure it needs to pivot every year. Just check in on it and make sure it's still what you want to do and update your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if your financial plan does dramatically change every year, you don't actually have a plan.
I don't know, though, because sometimes you can get made redundant in the year. You can have a child. There can just be years where back-to-back things change.
But that's interesting you say that. If you have a financial plan, generally, so if you went and set up a financial plan tomorrow with an advisor, you're not literally saying, oh, we need to plan for a redundancy.
No.
You will be saying, though, oh, yeah, we are planning to have a child in 2 years. So carving out emergencies, you wouldn't think it would change every year.
How many accidental babies did you find out about when you were an advisor?
A few.
Yeah. Accidental holiday bookings, car bookings, like things do. But I would agree that then becomes a different conversation.
But that's the whole difference between unplanned accident, baby, whatever, versus here's our financial plan. I don't know. That's a dumb question.
Yeah, but also how often do you do goals? Like you may have like the long-term plan that you're sort of pivoting and tweaking, but personally, like do you sit and do goals every year?
No, I do it all in my head. Like you're sitting in my latest goal.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
Achieved. Tick.
So yeah, sometimes I used to, but I'm really good now. If like I think of something that I really want to do, I don't actually have to write it down. I used to do it just to keep me on track, but I don't know. If I want something, it will marinate in me and I'll just work toward it.
I think a lot of people would love for that to be their reality, but it doesn't
Yeah,
work
I've
out
realised
like that for them.
I'm a bit of a freak with stuff in my head. Like everything in this new studio I designed in my head. Like all the grid I was like, yeah, probably be about 400 mil from the edge. I need that. So, yeah. If you skipped brunch, stopped travelling and never bought clothes again, we still couldn't afford a house in Sydney. Yeah, that's probably right.
True. Sadly.
Okay,
true.
level 4, the Carolina Reaper, dangerously hot.
I think they were easier than
The kind of take that could start a family argument at Sunday lunch. Dun, dun, dun. You'll be more financially successful if, when you are married, the wife stays at home and the husband goes to work. True or false?
false.
Zing! Wasn't even a question.
I was like, who the... Hey, can we just take a moment? There is so much of this bullshit on the manosphere at the moment. Like, it is becoming this whole, like, let's just take ourselves back to 1950s tradwife sort of vibe.
Is it tradwife or tradewife? Is it tradwife?
I'd prefer it to be tradewife. Are they wives that are tradies? That'd be my preference.
That's what
but I
I
think it's
thought.
tradwife, where you're
Right.
traditional, where you are
I'm an
cooking
idiot.
and cleaning.
Oh my
Did you not
gosh.
know what tradwife meant?
I thought it was the tradie wife.
I'd
How
take a
the
tradie
women
wife.
were like, oh, my husband goes to work, he's an electrician, and I'm at home. I'm a trad wife. Oh, okay.
No.
Makes sense.
No, like
Okay,
cooking
tradwife.
and cleaning and being
Right.
probably like high as a kite on depression tablets as was the like 1950s.
Yes.
There is a lot of this really negative undertone of men really like wanting to bring that sort of vibe back in the like, I don't know, it's called manosphere. I'm like, you know what? Your job is to look after you and what you want to do in your life. Stop please trying to tell women that it is.
How about
our
everyone
job to-
just do what they want to do? And
Yeah.
if you're with your partner, support each other's goals.
But I think there's this like benevolent sexism, I think it's called, where it's trying to come across as like, we want to help you and like, I want to provide for you. And like, it comes across as like this, you know, non-malicious, but it's scary and
This is weird.
It's bad.
On
Not
This
about it.
Is Business podcast, it was just literally out a few weeks ago. It was Trinity, she came to the studio and asked me questions and I answered it. And it was around like if you got married and like your partner working or whatnot. And then I saw this tradwife stuff online.
Tradewife.
Tradwife or whatever.
No, it is tradwife. I'm just giggling at you.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just didn't know it was traditional.
I think that is. I could be
So
completely
I
wrong.
said something on the podcast, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm no different than that other guy podcaster. Or who was that?
Is it Chris Griffin?
Yeah. And
What did you say?
I was like, oh, am I? But what I did, so me growing up, my mum and dad both had to work.
Yeah.
And I remember being, 6 years old, looking at the window, waiting for mum and dad to come home, like
Yeah.
when the sun was down. And I said on that podcast, if I have a family and a partner, I don't care if she wants to work or not,
Okay.
because money won't really be the problem. Is that because for me growing up, my mum had to work.
Did your dad have to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, firstly...
So just from my prism of growing up, because you see the world how you are, if my partner wanted to be a full-time worker and I don't care.
A full-time worker, yes.
Like I'm not putting any strings on them.
Yeah, sure. And I think where it becomes really toxic is when it's like the idea that you will provide for someone at the detriment of their ability to be connected to a career or have income opportunities, to be able to contribute to their long-term retirement fund, to have any sort of independence, autonomy and control of money. Like, I think sometimes this can be packaged up, especially in the busy world that we're living in. Like, honey, I got you. Like, there are moments where I think a lot of us would be like, oh my God, someone please, like, look after me. Like, sure.
But I think
scary.
it's the intent, because I think old mate on the podcast, the crazy stuff was like, oh yeah, I want her to be in a good mood when I get home. I'm like, kill yourself much?
Like doing postcards, and I think like playing with Barbie hair, like the whole thing. And if you actually listen to some of the commentary about that particular podcast, which I was wildly unhappy about, he talks about women as girls. He refers to women as girls, like we are children, and that we are, I made this sort of stupid rant about it, basically saying that based on what that particular guy had said, actually he needs a dog. Like he wants someone who the moment he comes home and like is just so excited
but I
to see
feel
him.
I can't win in the language war because it's all got to do with intention. And I think I live in reality, and the reality is I'm financially okay. So if I did get married, there isn't this thing, like I'll still work, that's all good. But if I had a partner who wanted to be a full-time mum because she values that, well, knock yourself out.
And this is the whole point around choice.
I don't care.
I think honestly, Glenn, like the fact that I think a lot of the people who are creating heat to this fire and problem are not reflective. And so even like you going, oh, I think I've like mucked up my language here, or like I'm a bit worried. I think there's none of that. There's no like accountability or reflection. But if you had a partner that did that, let's just play this out for a second. How would you make sure that they had some level of financial independence and autonomy? You're going to contribute to their super? They're going to get a salary?
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, they would get a salary from the business.
And then what happens if things go sour? Like, honestly, like, are you just going to stop giving them a salary? Like, there is risk there that needs to be thought through.
Yeah, and again, this is the complexity of life. And I would do super splitting. I would, I don't know. It's and that's what I mean. Like I can't win. So the other thing is the way that I would be thinking about it. If there were two people who wanted to still work and have their own careers, well, there's going to be a compromise on both sides.
Yeah, and at the moment, let's be honest, like all the stats say that disproportionately women still do the majority of caregiving, domestic duties. As soon as a female earns more than a male partner in a relationship, her risk of domestic violence goes up astronomically. Like it's
wild.
It's crazy. And so to have all these conversations where, people who benefit from the system being against women are trying to tell women that that's the system that they should go back to, despite the fact that it only benefits them.
I know someone who's a full-time worker and her husband's a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
And she cops the most crap from other women.
And he probably would too. I know some other people who they took parental leave instead of their female partners, and they didn't feel very welcome at like quote unquote mothers groups. And like I think we as a society have a lot of work to do because a lot of young men want to take time off to be with their kids. And there are lots of great research pieces that say it's beneficial for the children as well.
And this is where it's so hard because with the language, like what do I do in my situation?
I think it's less about the language and more about sort of what actually happens.
Well, the intent.
Like
I've said, yeah, I will do a binding financial agreement all day long and put in there if we separate, you can have some of my assets, like even before we get together.
I think I'm just...
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not something that I've needed to ever navigate because I've never had it's never kind of come up for me, but also I'm not someone who wants to do that for my own life. But I've seen the aftermath of where people haven't had these conversations, where people have been financially abused, where people have not had a career for 20 years, being dumped for the secretary. I know that sounds silly, but I've seen it over and over again. And they're like in their 50s going, holy fuck, like I'm really scared. And I think it's alarming.
Actually, you know what? It probably goes back to exactly why you do Financially Fierce and an education for young people to stand up for themselves and their future.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. But also knowing that I don't have all the answers. Like we are experts, like you and I have been doing this a long time. It's okay to also be like, well, we are also on a journey of being like, oh, how do I say this differently, or how do I hold space for being wrong? Like we're wrong all the time.
And that's it. Like, so my intent, I'm only saying from my view, it would kill me if I had a child who was at home by themselves after school without one of the parents there.
So you could also take time off.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't need to because I've worked for myself and I can just.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like, I honestly. This is where I get stuck with the language. I probably won't even get married the way I'm going. It's like too
Don't
late.
give up on yourself. You've now done a public plea on this episode. So
I've
who knows?
Like, I just would not care if the person I'm with wanted to be a full-time mum, wanted to be a full-time career person, wanted to have their own business. I don't care. We would make it work.
Sure.
But am I being misogynist for saying that?
That you want them to be whatever they want?
Yes.
I don't think
I would support whatever they wanted to do. And
no. I think that's the whole point. Like, the whole point is to
I just don't want to be thrown in that same basket as old mate saying, I want my wife to be chirpy and happy when I get home from work.
Yeah, to support your growth and your goals. And like, nah, mate, you can just check the fuck out and move the fuck on. Like, that's... And I was saying this to you yesterday. I got home and there was dinner made for me. I'm like, who wouldn't want that? I can understand why they want it. But I don't think that if you don't want it, like you would imagine me as a trad wife. I'd be fired immediately, if not sooner. Like nothing would get done. So I think we have to hold space for people who don't have the same thoughts as us to listen to them. But I think the extremes that we're talking about, you can't argue with people that don't want to listen and learn. And I think you can absolutely be across the language. And honestly, there's probably people listening to us who are like, you guys are idiots. This is the language you should be listening to. And like, tell us, we're keen to learn.
I mean, I won't be like, every time I do a podcast and talk about anything remotely like this, it's a losing battle because I can't please everyone with my language.
But the intent is good.
I hope they hear that the intent is good, even if I'm trying to work out this crap.
Okay. This was a controversial one. Did you say you just added that one in there?
Yeah, I just did that. Well, I wanted something spicy. And we were talking about it on the way to lunch. Question though, this is another thing where I can't win. You said that old mate was calling them girls. I struggle because sometimes I call my friends boys and they're 40-year-old men. Like, hey, boys. And like Sim had girls that invest and that's not child girls.
Yes.
So another thing, you can't win with the language, but I think it goes back to the intent.
Yeah, I think when you really look at, and I didn't do this research and I'm so sorry to whoever the good person was who sat and figured this out. And please, if you know who did this, let me know. I think it might have been Laura Henshaw, but I'm not 100% sure. In that episode, they looked at how many times did he refer to men as boys versus women as girls. And disproportionately, women were girls. And I think there is a really strong undercurrent of the fact that is has a whole heap of connotations around, like what? Yeah, I don't even want to go there.
It's just I think it's all got to do with intent and look beyond any words. Look at vibe. Look at action. Because you could be
and reflection
the most innocent person meaning well and say the wrong thing.
Which we are,
and the language will get you crucified, where if you look behind that.
Yeah. I think what pissed me off was that particular person doubled down on
Oh,
there.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
I was like, if you make a mistake and you're like, oh, hey, I actually have thought about this. You're right. That language, I get it, what you're saying. Thanks, I've learned and I get it. But when you then are being called out on it and you're like, no, I'm doubling down on it, then you're like, well, you can get in the bin.
Yes.
Not you, obviously.
Well, that might do it. You hate your best friend's partner. Are you telling them?
Oh, hang on. I thought we were wrapping up and then you've...
It's just a couple little ones.
go again. You hate
Hate
your...
your best friend's partner. Are you telling them? I would say, why do you hate your best friend's partner? Because if you got your best friend, they've just started seeing someone. If you're seeing any drip of a red flag, you have a responsibility to tell your best friend.
Do you?
I think so.
I've never been in this situation, but I'm just thinking about really close friends and what I would do. So I am a bit of a bull in a china shop, and I'd love to pretend that I would do it in a way that would be so strategic that I made them think it was their own idea, but that's unfortunately not how I generally roll with things. If I was really worried about their safety and thinking that something could be really wrong, yes, or something felt really off for me. I've just read this book where this best friend actually could sense something was wrong with this guy that this girl was dating, and she did make several comments about like her gut giving her weird vibes about him, and the friend didn't listen. So, and she was right. So yes, I think I would. I've never been put in that position. I'd like to think I would. And I don't think you know how you're going to behave in those moments until you didn't. I have had one really awful situation where I've told someone something. I don't know if I should say this on a podcast, but here you go. And it ruined the relationship with the person. That was hard. So I think you've also got to be prepared that if you do say it, they may not believe you or agree with you.
Yeah.
And it might damage the relationship.
I think in finishing back to the tradwife thing, it's so fascinating because I'm like, is it trade? And they've dropped the E, but it's traditional.
That's like I didn't know what incel was for a long time. I'm happy to admit that when I worked it out, I was like,
I only knew I only found out what that was from the show Adolescence. That's the only, I didn't know. I'm so sheltered.
How insane is that show?
It's hectic.
Yeah, go and watch
But I
it.
would say anyone who is in a relationship and you're going to start either one's taking leave out of the workforce to raise a family and all that stuff, you need to put your foot down and demand at least some super splitting.
And also access to money.
Yeah.
And not in the form of an allowance or they get the bulk and you get a tiny bit to do groceries. Like if that's what it is, that's a huge red flag. You run. Like, and just putting it out there in case it's helpful, 1-800-RESPECT is the place that I would encourage people to go to if they feel like that is a situation that they've sadly found themselves in, or a friend or family member is now in. Today was meant to be lighthearted, and I feel like we've covered some pretty intense topics.
I'm going to be going to sleep tonight thinking, God, I'm going to get crucified online. But I think it's just a real-time discussion of me discovering, what the actual definition was, but almost like my own experience growing up. I wouldn't want that for my family growing up. So what does that look like?
Yeah, I just think there needs to be some challenging to our social norms as well around, I would want my mum to stay at home or like my mum to be at home because I was at home in the dark. And I think it's like, well, why?
Yeah, but I think as well, maybe for my situation, maybe I was a mummy's boy. Like I really miss my mum, not my dad, as a child. So like there's that too. I don't know.
I don't know either. I just think that we have got so many social norms that have been so deeply ingrained and subliminally rooted in us that we need to recognize.
There are no rules, peeps.
Do whatever the fuck you want.
There are
that is the great
absolutely
thing.
no rules.
And also, a lot more people are not having children as early, or if at all, not having as many. Like you might meet someone who already has children. Like life is not always going to pan out how you think it is. I don't think you're going to be crucified for asking the right questions and having good conversations about it. I actually think that there's too many people who are scared to have the conversation, who are scared to ask the question, and that creates dangerous situations.
Anyway, I'll reflect tonight.
Send me your thoughts, Jess Brady _financial advice. Glenn, if this was your actual first episode on Financially Fierce, it was a good one. Can we try to make the next one?
Not good.
Yeah, that. And happy birthday for tomorrow, by the way.
Thank you. All right.
That's it. Go now. You go, we go. And be financially fierce. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia. We pay our respects to elders past and present. Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Jessica Brady is an Authorised Representative of Paragem Pty Ltd, Authorised Representative Number 1259972, AFSL 297276, ABN 16108 571 875. Corporate Authorised Representative Number 1305567.